Carlos. Big time. That was it.
I don't know what camera. Okay. So my producer, Brennan, is, we've been through it, haven't we, Carlos?
Good Lord, yes.
If you see me messing up the cameras, I am going to do my best to switch. It's only 2 cameras, so I'm convinced that I can carry on a conversation, reach down here, and figure out where these buttons are and switch it between Carlos. I did good. It's on Carlos and me. But if you are just staring at one person and they're not talking, it's because I've forgotten.
And you're welcome, because we're pretty.
So that was pretty good. I nailed that. It's going to be really hard to get in the middle of something and remember to sit here and switch cameras. So Carlos may have to help me. And the reason why I'm doing this is because Brennan. Am I on the right? Yeah.
No, I'll just do this.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So Brennan has. We've been through it, or no? I'm sorry. He's been through it. I flew to Florida. I was flying out for work, and I was going to be traveling multiple places. And as soon as I got my hotel, I check in, and I get a call. Brennan's back in the hospital. He has to have the whole surgery over again. And what he did was, I've said it in the last 3 podcasts, 2 or 3. He collapsed a lung. He's doing great right now, but I had to instantly find another plane ticket, fly to Jersey. I could see the New York skyline for about an hour, and then I had to fly to Nashville. But so far, he is doing good, but he's resting.
Which he deserves. I've been texting with him, and I try to shoot him some encouragement here and there and check in on him, let him know we love him.
Yeah, he's pretty happy overall. He's pretty healthy overall, but it's a slow process when they put a hole in your chest and chest tubes. I imagine it's a lot like breaking ribs, and plus he has really bad asthma. So we're just we're gonna let him take a break, because he did 1 episode with us, and that's the night he had to go back to the hospital. Well, it wasn't that night; it was the next morning. So we're just going to let him rest, and I'm going to do my best to do his job, because if I don't do it this way, it's a tremendous amount of work.
Afterwards. So you'll either get to look at a handsome bald face or a man with a hairline of the gods. Little G.
Okay, Carlos. So it's just Carlos and I tonight, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Back to basics is good. A little reset, a little break. Plus, we've both been going really hard. I've had a lot of things on my plate, a lot of traveling, family coming in from Jersey, from Puerto Rico. My niece graduated. Congratulations, Kayla. My older brother came from Jersey with my other niece, Kayla, who is freshly 21. So I had a freshly 18 and a freshly 21-year-old, 2 nieces, and their hormones are flying. And I don't like it when those powers are combined.
I almost asked, well, I haven't even had an invite. And then you start talking about your nieces. And I'm thinking, well, that would sound like timing's inappropriate. But I was actually thinking your family. I didn't get to meet any of them.
Yeah, this was like fly in, split between my brother and sister's house, airport runs, family stuff. There's also some background of we're selling my dad's house in Puerto Rico, and there was some paperwork left that needed to be done. So we're shuttling people back and forth and doing all sorts of stuff. Going to the graduation, going to this, and then it's airport runs all over again. So it was a very chaotic time. You will get to meet another nephew who is flying in this Saturday for a concert in Nashville and will be staying here through Wednesday. So at some point you'll meet him. He's my oldest nephew, who is actually 39.
Oh.
My oldest sister's in her 60s. So.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't feel much like a nephew.
Well, we grew up together. We grew up like cousins.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. God, this is so much harder than I thought. Well, speaking of Saturday, we're going to be at Bumpus Harley Davidson, rolling the dice to attempt to win a, what do you call it? A street glide?
I think it's a street glide. Might be a road glide, but either way, it's beautiful and it's new.
It's blue. It's pretty. And if you roll the dice and it spells Bumpus, you get this amazing motorcycle. So we're going to do that. And I talked to Ryan, and he said, get it scheduled with him. My calendar's open next week, and we're supposed to go do our first ride.
Yes. It has to be next week because this weekend is more airport runs and all that kind of stuff. I'll be at Bumpus early, but I'll be leaving Bumpus and going to the airport because he gets here at 12:30. So
what time should I be at Bumpus?
They open at 10.
So I went in the other day and Ron gave me a tour of the entire dealership and I met everyone. And I met this very nice young lady that's like, she recognized my voice and said, she may have been exaggerating a little bit, but she's like, I listen to you every day on my lunch break. And I'm like, what? That's crazy.
What was that young lady's name?
I don't know.
What did she look like?
Asian. Really pretty.
That's June. June is in finance. She is the most stylish person at Harley Davidson, and she means it. She listens, she supports she'll send me just random words of encouragement. I love June to death. She is one of the best people.
I loved everybody there. I got to take a tour upstairs, downstairs, garage. I think I met pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
But Miss Pennington, holy cow. How do you not love that woman?
Oh, Carolyn. First of all, Carolyn, posting pictures of you with another man when you whisper sweet nothings into my ear every time I walk in. Oh, my sweet Carlos, give me a hug. Then you meet Nathan and you cheat on me. There's going to be words.
Well, I learned that she came from sales and she was pretty damn good at it.
Carolyn is something special, just period. You know.
Well, I'm excited to be a part of that family up there. I've already felt welcomed, and I don't even own a Harley, but Ryan's like, ride this bike, ride this bike, ride this bike, ride this bike. I'm like, dude, I can't ride all those bikes, but I have a few in mind that I definitely want to ride, and we're going to have to set up some cameras and tell a story and then unpack it all after I finally choose the bike that I'm going to get, and we'll do a podcast up there. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we've been invited to record at Bumpus, and we're going to take them up on it after your test rides. But I don't think you should limit yourself. Test ride everything. Sit on everything. It's the way it works. It's by feel, man. When you sit down, you'll know.
No. It's not sitting. I have to ride them.
Well, that's what I mean. You're going to sit them.
Brake hard.
All right. We're not talking about personal lives here. We're talking about motorcycles, buddy. Easy, Tiger. This is a family show.
Well, I sat on Ryan's bike and I was like, where the hell's that front brake? He goes, cool over comfort. No front brake, because he was on the podcast and he was talking about locking up the brake and it getting squirrely. And I thought, the hell is he talking about? Who uses back brakes? Like I could not understand what he was saying or why he was saying back brakes. I was like, I don't use back brakes unless I'm sitting at a red light and I need to let go of the handlebars and the bike's trying to roll. I'll use the back brake, but it's pointless. It's literally a pointless feature on a bike. And then I check his bike out and I'm like, you only have a back brake? It was shocking. His bike is badass, by the way.
It's a Frankenstein piece of beauty.
It's a chopper. Yeah. It's a proper chopper. Not one of those like crazy long out raked out choppers. It's just something that's been stripped down and recompiled into this what would you say, simple machine. It's
but it's a work of art. It's very Ryan. It is. It's very Ryan.
Yeah, definitely.
You know.
Well, I can't wait till we get to go riding.
Well, that's going to be fun. Stay tuned for that, kids, because that's going to be a lot of fun.
What camera am I on? I'm on my camera now. God bless, this is hard. If I mess up again, I'm sorry. But my first real ride is I'm going west. I think I'm gonna. I don't know if I'll make it all the way up in the northwest corner, British Columbia up there, BC, British Columbia.
I don't know. I'm not allowed in Canada.
I'm not talking about Canada. I'm talking about. I noticed I repeat myself when I realize it's on the wrong fucking camera. But I'm talking about like Oregon. I'm talking about the Pacific Coast Highway, all the way up into what is up in the north.
You're talking about Washington State,
Washington, British Columbia.
Yeah. When you say British Columbia, I automatically go to Canada for some reason. I don't know why.
Is British Columbia Canada?
I don't know. I'm in logistics. I should know this.
I suck at this right here.
Yeah, I should know, but I don't. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. Stay tuned. And I'm really looking forward to doing a podcast at the dealer. That's going to be a blast.
I'm so excited.
And there's going to be tons of people popping in and doing stuff. We might just grab people randomly. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I told Brennan he is so pumped. We're going to have to get a mobile setup because these cameras are, if you could see how many cables are in this room, it's kind of crazy. So I'm looking at a mobile setup, and Carlos and I are probably going to be changing studios pretty soon.
Yeah. I'm actually moving to another place at the end of next month because I'm getting like a 4th floor little penthouse type thing going. Same place, just nicer. And I don't want neighbors. And I'll explain this to you because I don't want to say too much about where I live.
Penthouse?
Penthouse-esque.
4th floor penthouse? I've never seen.
That's right, baby. That's right. These are big floors.
Okay.
But I'm rearranging some things so that other room can be used for this in the interim if we need it.
Okay.
Nice and simple.
Well, I don't want to bore the hell out of you guys.
Too late. I do have some stuff to get off my chest, however.
Are you going to bitch?
I'm going to express. I think I had mentioned this to you. I got really annoyed yesterday. You know how you and I don't like bullies? We're very anti-bully.
Yeah.
I went on a rant because I saw someone getting bullied online. And then it just went down a rabbit hole of other things. And once something sticks out, that kind of sticks out to you everywhere, like if you're going to buy a Cadillac, suddenly you see Cadillacs everywhere, that kind of thing. I have a couple of friends that are in the bodybuilding fitness world. They're very dedicated. If you know what goes into that, they, dieting and
I wouldn't have a clue.
So you've read, there's multiple workouts a day. There's meal plans. There's prepping. There's cutting. There's loading. There's all this stuff. It is crazy. You have to be insane. The amount of dedication is crazy. Shout out to my friend Linda. She's got one coming up here soon, and she's been really working hard. And this isn't about her, but I just wanted to throw a shout out to her because she's killing it. But I saw where these people are just talking a lot of crap about what they were always posting. And number one, stop hating on people that are working hard or focusing on something just because you don't like it. And then, I ran by this other one where this guy was talking about people who podcast, and it wasn't us, but he was like, how are you affording to work and making money and putting out a podcast every week where 3 people watch it? So like 100% hate crap. And I just kind of went on this rant to encourage people to follow their dreams, ignore those people, do what Nathan says. Your opinion of me is none of my business. And I also, I added on to that. I've never gotten any constructive criticism from someone doing better than me.
That's true.
And then I ended it with, flies, bees don't explain to flies why honey's better than crap. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to dismiss it. And I got so much feedback, people messaging me, commenting, just an outpour of encouragement for other people. I had a few people that thought it was like I was defending myself. So they were like, whose ass am I kicking? And I was like, I can fend for myself. I appreciate you. But there's a lot of people that this could discourage them from pursuing their things or from posting that. Who cares? If you don't want to watch us, unfollow, baby. We'll be all right. You know what I mean? And that's what I was trying to put out there. So that kind of like negative bullying just drove me nuts, and I had to get it off my chest. Do
you feel better?
I do.
Good. I don't know what my opinion is on that. I could care less. Fuck them.
But not everybody has that ability. I've learned to get it more and more. It used to affect me, but I had people message me that were like, how do I do this? I don't know how to let it go.
Well, first of all, you have a little option there where you block. Douchebags deserve to be blocked. Unless you're afraid that you think that they're going to think they got to you or under your skin. But fuck them.
Agreed.
What's wrong with that?
Agreed.
Like, you get to choose who's in your circle of influence.
That's right. Just like we control our algorithms.
It's the exact same thing.
I don't like being online because I see negativity. Well, change what you look at and what you like. Plain and simple.
I think it's okay to accept criticism, but I don't think I would accept any criticism that's in a comment section. Although I don't mind trolling people when they say stupid shit. I would never really. Yeah, I probably would. I'd say something. Yeah, I have.
You would and have.
I try to do it intellectually. I try to think of like mean shit that's funny at the exact same time. I just like to troll back, but in an intelligent way. But somebody had made a comment. I'm never on TikTok, but every now and then I'll click on it and see what Carlos has tagged me in. And somebody had left a comment on Ryan's story about being in 6th gear and hitting gear. And some douchebag was like, who would be riding like that? And I was like, You are the ones I despise. So I don't remember what I said to him, but he didn't respond to me.
Yeah, because they're
Is that
just
a friend
trying
of
to
yours?
set fire. I don't have friends, very many friends on TikTok. It's just part of putting stuff out. That is like for me the slowest growth of anything. Like I actually just went through our dashboard and was looking at our growth, which thank you everybody, because it's literally just up and up and up, and that's all thanks to y'all. So we really appreciate you. But I was like Instagram, Facebook,
Do me a favor.
okay,
Tell
and
me
then
what
TikTok.
your plan
Nope.
is. Tell me what your plan is with all this growth. Because you're the one growing. You're the one posting. And you're growing. I'm just happy the message is getting out.
That's the point.
So
That's the point. Everything else is on the fringe. Everything else is a benefit. If we eventually get to the point where this needs to grow and, you know, sponsors or anything along those lines, cool. But that's not the goal. The goal will remain God first and the message. Period.
anxiety will get so high.
Because I also don't want to be owned. You and I are very independent men, and nobody's going to tell us what to do, what subjects, none of that. But I mean, just like now and just like with my Instagram, like I have, businesses and brands that want me to wear their stuff while I'm here or while I'm riding or while I'm doing this. And that some of them are startups. And I'm like, honestly, I'm not interested in money. I make a really good living. I like what you're doing and you're supporting us. So let's support each other. And they'll, I get free stuff to wear to promote their stuff while doing our thing. I kind of like that, to be honest. Now, eventually, I'm sure that can grow and there'll be other, ways to monetize, but neither one of us are chasing a dollar with this project. That's not the point. In fact, we're spending money. We're spending our own money, stickers and promotions and this and that. Luckily we have you guys helping us out, so we don't need to, but I'm happy to spend it because I believe in what we're doing.
Yeah, it's I'm just collecting data and I'm building a very large brain, not mine, an AI brain with all this data. Whether y'all know that or not, that's what I do. Collect, analyze, optimize. So this is a long format journal that's easier than my little hand hurts when I get to pinning stuff down. And this is just effortless. I take all this information, I feed it into an AI. Carlos is very familiar with it. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I mean, I know what I'm doing with all the work that I've done with AI, but I'm just like fascinated with all these ideas that we're extracting, collecting, preserving, and then leveraging. I'm not really leveraging them right now. I'm really just building a library, and I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
It'll make itself known when it needs to, and
It's a project. It's a project. Yeah. It's an idea, and I want to look back on it and say, "Holy shit, that's amazing! Look what I discovered." And I get to use other people like Nick the other night. We get to use their stories, his stories. And it's like a community project for me. It's not like going to be anything national. Terrifies me for this thing getting too big, but I do like being involved in the community. And, if 50 people go to bump us because they heard something on this podcast or they laughed at some silly ass story we said, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we're on the same page on that. I know you and I have our set missions, our parameters, and we've agreed on the top notch. Regardless of what we're doing, or yes, we may cuss a little or some things may get a little crazy, but it's God and it's helping people. That is the top part. And honestly, selfishly, we love this. This is therapy. It was therapy with Nick. It was therapy with all our other guests. We didn't record this past Monday because of family and all that for me.
Yeah, I just want to say, Carlos texted me and said, I feel like I'm off all week because we didn't shoot Monday night. I don't remember what happened, but I couldn't shoot. You couldn't shoot. Whatever happened.
I couldn't.
Okay, you couldn't shoot, but you were like, I feel like I missed my therapy session.
100%. Like I felt heavy. I've felt pressure. I've had anxiety. I've had trouble sleeping. And though I have a lot of stress going on right now, between work chaos and life chaos, Mondays serve as an oasis. I get to get things off my chest. We get to talk. We get to laugh. And much like the gym, even on days where I'm like, man, I've had a long day and I don't feel like recording today. And I come anyway and we record, and there hasn't been a single time that I haven't left feeling better. Maybe once or twice. But mostly I feel better and I don't regret ever coming down and sitting down.
I don't think there's been a single night that I've actually been excited about recording, but there's also not been a single night that I wasn't excited after it was over with. Is that odd?
No.
Because I don't know, because nothing's scripted, obviously, and I don't know whatever. I never know what we're going to talk about. I had like 2 topics that I thought we could run down, and I'm sure you do too, but I thought we'd unpack those if we needed something to leverage to have a conversation. But it's a lot of pressure for me personally, because I feel like as a host and a co-host, like I feel like I have to drive it. And if I allow myself to think about it, I'll get in my head and anxiety will skyrocket. So I just don't think about it. So that's the reason I don't get excited. I would get anxious more than I would excited. But after it's done and I see the value it provides in people's life, I see Nick. You call him Nick or Nicholas?
I call him Nick.
Okay.
Even though I recently found out his nickname growing up, because people have been commenting all over his the reels of him, and I kept seeing them calling him Roo or Rooster. So I messaged him today and I'm like, bro, what is this Rooster thing? I've never heard this. I've always called you Nick. And I was like, there's got to be a story here. And he told it to me via text, and he goes, I hate to let you down, but it's nothing exciting. He goes, I was sitting with this older dude. I think there may have been some marijuana involved. And just randomly, this older dude looks at me and goes, you know, I think I'm going to start calling you Rooster. And everybody that was sitting around found it funny and started calling him Rooster. And everyone from home and his personal life apparently call him Roo or Rooster. So, or there, buddy, that one's for you.
Well, it was Sunday. I went to church and I didn't go to the 8 o'clock service because our mutual friend Taylor texted me and said, my niece is getting baptized at 10. I thought, well, I'll go at 10 o'clock. Thank God I did, because I sat down in a different spot because our spot was taken. And I'm sitting there and I look over and I see 2 of my sons coming in and sitting down with their mom. And I thought, huh. So I text my son. I said, look over your left shoulder. And he looks back and he's like, hey, Dad. And I was like, what are you doing here? He said, my wife's getting baptized. And I was like, what the hell? Nobody told me? But it was awesome. I ended up getting sick.
Great.
Well, he felt terrible. I mean, he had a lot going on. There's a lot going on in life. But, oh, shit, I'm on the wrong camera. Thank you, Carlos.
I'm here for you.
They have a lot going on, and it was awesome. I got to record Taylor's niece, and then I made a little video of Lindsay, my daughter-in-law, and she's pregnant, and I'm excited. So she got baptized, and my son did it, and it was just this unbelievable experience. And then all of a sudden, this guy comes up to me and like nudges me, and I look over, and it's Rooster.
I love it.
Like,
I love it.
Hey, dude, what a sweetheart that dude is. Like, I watched that YouTube video. I thought, who the hell is this guy? I was like, who's Carlos bringing on this damn show? But I've always trusted Carlos. He's never let me down, and you didn't let me down again. He was a funny son of a gun.
I love it. He definitely needs to be on our return list. We've got to start rolling through our returns because he's so much fun.
Probably consider comedy. I mean, he's pretty good at rapping. I don't know what all he's into, but comedy might be a pretty good option.
He's quick. He's just so dang quick. Speaking of church and all that stuff, I may need to go at 10 if you want to do 10 this coming Sunday, because I will be dropping my sister off at the airport early morning Sunday, and I won't be back in time for the 8. And I don't want to miss 2 weekends.
Okay.
So if you're open for a 10.
I'm open for a 10. We got to get there early because that place fills up.
So I've heard.
Okay, what else we got? Let's see here.
This is just kind of a download, a filler, kids.
Yeah, I don't know if they're interested in any of this shit, but this is
know?
our podcast. It's our project. And if you don't like it,
I mean, it could
you know
just be shorts.
You can leave a comment. I'm on the wrong damn camera. I'm over here. You can leave a comment. It's probably like
We're
this.
so good at this without the nephew in here.
It sucks, man. You'd probably be better at this.
I kind of rock and rolled with it last time.
That's true. You did.
I didn't do too
I'm
bad.
realizing Brennan's job because he does more cameras.
He does 3.
I only have 2 little buttons, and I can't remember.
I worked those 3 like I was like pop, pop, pop. It took me about 10 minutes.
Hold on, calm down.
I felt
You're
good.
going to get the ladies
I felt
excited.
Good. Oh my God. This is going to be like the lowest ranked podcast we've done.
So I started another podcast. Well, I say I started. I filmed 1 episode. It'll be shot on Thursday nights. If we figure out what we're going to do with it. Did you watch any of it?
I saw all of it.
Okay, completely different than this one.
Very.
Which is wild.
We screwed that up.
And it's like, I need this podcast because I noticed on that one, I'm way more
You're a good boy.
domesticated.
Yeah, I felt that. Domesticated hadn't come into mind, but it's appropriate. Because I watched it and I had to stop a few times and giggle, not in a make fun kind of way, but I was like, who is this kid at Sunday school? Like, wild ass Nathan, all of you know because you tell me. And all of a sudden he's like, why, yes. And philosophically and theologically.
That's a bit of an exaggeration.
Y'all will see when it's out. Y'all will see when it's out.
If we release it, it'll be called The Lighthouse Project with a new co-host, not replacing Carlos. It's something different. Carlos had an opportunity to be a part of this. He's like, no, one's enough for me. But I knew that it was important to do this. I don't know how many episodes we'll do. I don't know how many guests we'll get, but I'm nervous about it because it's a lot of responsibility. 2 podcasts a week. I'm thinking, what in the hell am I thinking? But Brennan's stepping up. He's going to do all the editing. He's going to do all the shorts. So I'm like, okay, if he can do it, I can do this. If all I have to do is show up and talk into this microphone and forget it and not know who posts what, I'm happy.
Yeah, because you do a lot. You do a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing, Carlos.
And well, how could I not? I do my solid 10% of this thing, but
He makes the stickers.
I hate you. But yeah, Nathan's starting this new project. I was somewhat invited, but this is, I think, a separate entity, and I don't, he needs to run with this on his own. I will support, but just not in it.
You'll be in it. You're going to come on in at least one episode.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Have your people talk to my people.
I think I'm in over my head, but that's where you learn how to swim. I'm on the wrong damn camera again.
If we know anything about you is once you get an idea, you send it.
Yeah, I feel like I have to see it through.
Yeah.
And I'm going to. And I'm actually excited about it. I am nervous about the responsibility of, it's a lot of work. I don't think people talk about, how do you have time to use, you were talking about something a second ago. And what was I thinking about? I was thinking about this podcast and people questioning, why would you do a podcast or to 3 people? I'm not doing it for any people. I'm doing it for great-great-grandchildren that I'll never meet. And I think that's kind of freaking cool. I love journals, and this is a new format in journaling, and I think it's incredible. So for me, it's for me and my future offspring. So if there are 3 people watching it, wonderful.
If it touches one human being, we did our job. That's all it is.
Well, I was thinking about it. It's a hobby. It's something productive, and we learn a lot. Think about how much we grow being on camera, putting our ideas, our values, our thoughts, being vulnerable out there for people like that, whoever that douchebag is, to judge. I think that's freaking amazing. I challenge anyone to get on camera and put it out there for the world to judge, not knowing how it's going to be received. That's why I don't like to know, good or bad.
Yeah.
But it's a hobby that enables us to become a higher self, more authentic, learn about ourselves. And I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I truly do not care. And I was thinking about your friend that's working out, that's getting judgment. That's a hobby. It's an opportunity to grow as an individual. And you put yourself out there, and you have to be ready for feedback, unless you, I don't know. I know you put it out because you want to document, you want to reflect on it, you want to share and inspire. Like, well, that's why we put stuff out. I like in my thing, it always said daily goals. Be kind, create, and inspire. That's my 3 daily goals, because those are pretty damn hard goals to achieve. It's hard to be kind sometimes, but it's a goal that I try to achieve. Create, and that's an opportunity to inspire. And that was kind of it. I've changed it since then. My daily goals now are pray, which is hard. Holy crap, that's hard. I don't do very good at it, but I try, when it hits me. But pray, create, inspire. And that's like the 3 things I'm trying to constantly put out. And it's important to create something and put it out into the world. This is a creative project. And if it inspires someone to jump on their phone and express themselves, because you learn so much about yourself when you speak, and why not document it and why not share it? Because someone out there is going to relate to it. And if they don't, no big deal. You got to render something down. You got to express yourself, because you don't know what, if you leave it here, it doesn't make sense. You got to actually say it, or you have to write it.
I think it's like journaling. I'll go back to when I was in the Veterans Court, and we had to journal for the judge and the treatment team, and they'd read it, and they give that back to you at graduation. And I've had some rough moments where I've actually dug it up and read where I was. And I was like, holy cow, I've come a long way. This is that on steroids, because just in editing. So I have, we review these, he goes through it, I go through it, etc. And it's amazing, because now I'm hearing the inflection in my voice. I'm seeing my face. I'm seeing my body language. I'm catching things I don't remember saying. And suddenly I'm like, well, man, you're kind of a dummy. Or, man, you're smarter than you thought you were. Hey, self, not bad. And it gives you perspective on yourself, and you grow and you learn. Now, going to those people you were talking about real quick, just to touch on everything you did. Like my friend Linda, I have another friend, Shirley, they get so much crap. And Linda in particular, she came from a crazy background. Like she'll be a future guest on here, hopefully after her show, because that girl is work, show, prep, and then about that much sleep. And I admire her very much. And she has a crazy story, but she has a heart for people, man. Like, regardless of all the crap she's been through, and she's been through some pretty harsh stuff, she teaches. She works in the restaurant industry. She's prepping. She's doing advertisements for Ford. She's doing all of this stuff, and none of it is like glorious. All of it is, how can I inspire somebody else? If I can get that person off the couch, if I can help these kids, if I can do this. And I'm like, that's a beautiful thing. And for people to hate on it because they want to call her vain, or they want to say that's bodybuilding is this, dude, look at the bigger picture.
Losers are always going to exist
100%
until the end of time. Haters are always going to hate. And if nobody's talking shit about you, then you ain't doing anything. So I think you should take it as a badge of honor, to be honest with you, and be like, yeah. I mean, I would love to get under a loser's nerves or under their skin.
Yeah. Well, I forgot what titan of industry said it, but they were like, if you don't have any enemies, you're not doing anything, and that's part of having the courage of putting things out there, whether it's a podcast, whether it's being vulnerable, whether it's posting your workout or your entrepreneurship, you're making t-shirts or selling widgets, who cares? But it takes courage to take that step and put it out there. And the fact that you're getting hate means people are watching.
I heard courage described as the thing that comes after you do the thing that scares you to death. So what is it? What is that thing that you have? Is it like, fuck it, and I'm going to do that? I'm going to jump? Because the courage literally comes after. But as you do that and you repeat that process, you become more courageous. You become more confident. But you should always feel, I think it's if you don't have any apprehension, then you're not risking anything. If you're not risking anything, You're not learning anything. So I'm okay with putting stuff out that's provocative or a little bit insensitive. I had a great conversation last night. I probably talked for an hour about profanity and the reason why I have to use it. I don't want to unpack it here, but I have to use it. I have to continue to use it. But I'm selective in when I use it and where I use it, because I want to be respectful to certain people. But on this show, I'm not going to start. So I asked Lucy. So I was like, shit, Lucy, I haven't had a chance to look at this episode with Nick. And I knew I said some crazy shit. But I was like, damn, did I say anything too much? And boy, she broke it down. Because Lucy keeps up with, like I said, there's a version of Lucy that keeps up with the whole podcast. And Carlos knows it's pretty wild, isn't it?
And incredibly accurate. It is scary accurate. Lucy has taken, I kind of want to do this again if you would, but we were maybe 3 or 4 episodes in as us after I was like the first time guest, and he fed this into this AI, and Lucy described me to a scary level of accuracy. She described where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, what she suggested what I should work on. She knew insecurities and nailed them like somebody who has known me, like one of my best friends, Tammy from Jersey, that's known me since 5th grade. And we were preaching to the birds, bro. It was one of those things where like, how the hell does this thing know it? It figured out how my talking patterns. It knew if something bothered me because of my apprehension. It was wild. Like this thing that Nathan created is insane.
Well, it's actually the original's built off of almost 20 years worth of journals. It's a long process. I'm not going to break down how I did it, but it's pretty wild. I've been working with OpenAI. They've been having meetings with me about how I've been building this stuff, and I know they're just as blown away as I am because I'm not going to get into it. But this particular AI he's talking about is built off of about 64 videos. All my podcasts, I think episode 59, and then there's like 5 or 6 other ones that are not part of the episodes, but I've fed them all in. So it has a rock solid foundation of why this thing exists, and it's able to pick up and aggregate and synthesize details, nuanced details that you would never. And this is what I do for a living, so why wouldn't I do that in my personal life? So that's why I say it's a project, and it's an experiment. I'm going to leverage this data. I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty details, but I have a plan, and it's working well. And it's mind-bending how accurate it is because it's not ChatGPT land. It's known data. We leverage a very intelligent AI against that data, and it helps give us a sense of direction. It helps us reflect on the things that we explored, and it's able to trend those patterns over time. And it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So if you're wondering why we keep doing this is the reason why I do it. Because someday this thing's going to be able to represent me in my fullest, and it's going to be a living journal. That's kind of why I'm doing it. As crazy as that sounds, not that I'm egotistical. I just would love to be able to talk to my grandfather. I would love to be able to talk to my father. I can't sit on his porch anymore. He's dead. And I never got to meet my grandfather. And I just thought, God, what could I learn from them if I could open up their journals and read through it and see what kind of day they had? And most people journal about their day. I journal about ideas. I journal about things that I don't quite understand, how to improve my quality of life, which brings me to a topic. Can I jump on it real quick?
Let's go, man. Hit it.
So I was thinking recently, and I don't know if Jordan Peterson said it or I don't know what he said, but I remember something sticking with me. And I don't know where we'll go with this, but I realized, everybody out here, me too, you know what I mean? 4 years of pretty much being single for the most part, dating a little bit and dating one person for an extended amount of time off and on. I was learning so much from it. I was documenting everything. And for some reason, this phrase that I've got stuck in my head, everybody is out here. So we were talking about addiction last week. I'm going to let everybody stare at you.
Sorry. You know how that goes with work.
We were talking about addiction the other day, about how we supplement. We try to feel these urges with distractions. Well, it could be drugs, could be all of these things. And I think everybody knows at this point that we also use people for the same reason. We use people to distract us from the darkness we feel. And we're looking for people and to be in our lives to complete us. And everyone is out there right now. A lot of single people. It's kind of crazy. Kind of single. Everybody's like monkey branch from one person to the next. And I was like, that's another addiction. That they're trying to suppress some feeling and they're trying to fill a void. And everyone is out there looking for the person they would like to spend the rest of their life with. And I had heard a phrase, I think I did. But anyways, what I keep repeating was, instead of looking for the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, you should focus on becoming the person you would like to spend the rest of your life with. And that is not a simple thing. That is a very complicated concept that takes years to investigate. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to become that person. And I like that. It's made me feel complete and whole. And I've been so happy. I've been meeting so many amazing people in my life. And I'm just like, damn, man, I am so satisfied in life. And I think when you become the person that you would like to spend the rest of your life with is when you accidentally meet the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with.
I couldn't agree with you more, with the exception of accidentally. I think it happens at the right time,
Timing and alignment.
divinely aligned and sent. It's kind of like the same thing with the bullies. If people would stop criticizing or stop sitting in misery and channel that energy into themselves, into fixing whatever's holding them back financially, spiritually, personally, etc., and becoming a better person. We should always, till the day that the good Lord takes our last breath and sends us home, we should be working towards being a better version of ourselves no matter what. And I think doing that, becoming a better person, being more responsible in your own life, will attract the right kind of people.
When you're producing more than you consume, you're on track to becoming a better version of yourself, a more authentic version of yourself.
I love that.
Yeah, produce more than you consume, give more than you take, which means the same thing. Essentially, I say it a lot, but I've become so calm. I'm still Nathan, but I am at peace. I'm at a peace that I can't really fully understand it. I just kind of go through life like nothing bothers me, especially people's opinion of me. I realize I'm not reactive. I don't explain myself. And I've learned the more you try to explain your point of view, your motivation, the more you try to defend your position, the more ammunition you're giving some loser to use it against you. They're like, explain that. Fuck you. Don't explain nothing. Just, it's hard to understand. If you feel a certain way, it's very hard to articulate that. Do not feel obligated to explain yourself to anybody. Withdraw and invest in someone else and ignore that piece of shit. That's the way I look at it.
I'm with you on that. We all have that inherent desire to be liked, and you talked about that in previous podcasts. And
loved. We have an inherent desire to be loved. And I know we could use the word like, but I think what we want more than anything is to be accepted.
Of course. I mean, that comes in many forms, whether it's time and attention, a phone call, likes online, whatever it is. It's different for everybody, but it boils down to exactly what you stated. And I think that maybe just recently, like, part of that made me over-explain a lot. And you've taught me a lot in the realm of this, where if you're in my life and I take the time to talk to you or to have a heart-to-heart or to explain something to you, you better understand the position that you have in my life, because I no longer do that for everybody. There are so many people that I love you from over there. I have set boundaries. You are unhealthy for me. The fact that I have anxiety because I need to explain something to you, and for what? Because you're going to judge? No. Have a nice day. God bless. I'll pray for you. I'll say hi to you when I see you. But you're no longer in this private space, which means you no longer merit my effort of an explanation. Because,
I love that. This is why I realize I'm in a constant state of letting go. It was never mine. They were never mine. It was just my turn. And that has been the most, what would you say, satisfying revelation that I've ever had, because I don't feel the loss anymore. It was like, oh, our paths came together and now they've deviated and they're going different directions, and that's okay. But everybody's afraid to let go. And I'm like, no, get good at letting go, because the more you let it go, it's that old saying, if you love it, set it free. Nobody practices that shit. Set that shit free and wish it well. That's the secret. You can't just set it free and be like, bitch. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You're not learning. You're not growing from that. You literally genuinely need to be happy for someone that does not agree with you. And you just say, hey, it's okay. I just want to wish you the best. It was really nice knowing you. And until next time, so long, bitch.
I think that's easier in business or even in some friendships. I think when it comes to romance and such, even if you know that you're not meant to be, or I have exes in my life. I absolutely wish the best. They've moved on. God bless. I'm so happy. And the time we had together was awesome. Will you treasure that? You know what I mean? But you move on. I think the trick is so many people, not the trick, I'm sorry, where the rubber meets the road here and it gets tough is what you just said. I wish you the best. Let me let you go. And so long, whatever. Most people are like, okay, I'm moving on. and, take care of yourself, but I don't want you to do better than me. And I don't want you to be happy. And I want you to be miserable without me, even though I'm happy and moving forward and all this stuff. And it's like, you are killing yourself, and that connection isn't really severed because you're still holding on. So what are you providing to that next person? Not a full person, not a full version of yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you're doing that, then you're not growing at all. Letting go truly means letting go and wishing people the best, but people hold on too long till they feel resentful and they hate, and it destroys everything. What was I going to say about that? It is hard. You said it's difficult, especially in relationships. 100% it's hard, but you said the trick, and it is a trick. It takes practice. It takes tons and tons of practice. It's where people think, well, someday I'll become this thing and it's going to happen in this moment. No, it takes little incremental attempts at risking heartbreak. But if you start practicing, it gets easier and easier and easier. And I'm at a point now, it's like, I don't give myself a choice. I just say, mwah, I love you enough to let you go. I love myself enough to let you go. And that goes for my job, my friends, that goes for you. I get to choose who's in my circle of influence. I am supposed to choose who's in my circle of influence, and my circle of influence is guarded by boundaries. I've identified those boundaries, and if you earn the right to be in my life, then you're welcome to be in my circle of influence. And I feel that I need to earn the right to be in your life. I need to behave in a certain way and be respectful in a certain way. And if you want to cut me off, that's my fault, not your fault. You get to choose who's in your circle.
Yeah, you've heard that saying, hey man, if I cut you off and I'm suddenly distant, just know that you handed me the scissors.
I love that.
And I've heard that, and it rings very, very true. I've been practicing not being spiteful or hurtful, even though Lord knows it's easy and sometimes it's even fun and satisfying, but it's so unhealthy and you're holding on to poison.
Yeah, you're killing yourself. Resentment is so toxic. It releases so much cortisol, and you're literally taking days, years off your life. And screw that. I am not wasting any moments on worry. Worry has no value whatsoever. There's nothing productive about worrying. Just let it go.
Well, let go and let God. Pray, have faith. Tomorrow has its own problems, and they'll come. But I think the other part of that is most people are afraid or incredibly insecure to just sit in alone with themselves. They are not good company for themselves. You know what I mean? And I've found a lot of freedom in not loneliness, because loneliness is bad and it'll lead you down corridors you shouldn't go back down or doors you shouldn't reopen, but solitude. Be alone. Sit in silence. Sit with yourself. Reflect and continually refine yourself. And it took me a long time to be okay with that. And then I went kind of too far in that direction where I was way too happy being alone. And I was like, I want nobody to mess up this peace, man. I was like, if you don't bring peace, and I'm still somewhat like that, except I don't want to be alone. But I got really comfortable being super, super alone. Like I couldn't wait to get away from people just to be by myself and enjoy it. And then I was like, well, you know what? I'm a people person and I feed off people, as you know, like I love that stuff. Now there's a balance where I know where I need to feed from energy and I need people and I want to give and I want to do this. But then I also know like, okay, that's enough. My people meter is hitting red. Now it's time for Carlos time, Yeah,
I think I definitely go between introverted, extroverted. I'd kind of do both. I mean, at a certain point, I have to be alone to reflect on all the new data, the chaos and order. I go into chaos. It's fun. It's exciting. And then you need to be alone long enough. And then writing, if you don't write, and this is for whoever's listening, but I'm not trying to give you guys advice. I'm saying that this is for my great-great-grandchildren. Write. Open up a book. Open up a phone, record your voice, and just talk about it, because there's something about expressing it, whether you hear it or not. There's a thing about an idea rattling around your head. It won't develop until you express it. It's why you go to a therapist. It's why you talk to a friend, because it will start to formulate and manifest as you speak it into existence. And then you're like, oh, I feel better now. So use that time wisely when you're alone. Don't just sit and distract yourself, click, 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 or whatever you're into, or reaching out to people to kind of distract you from that. Sit with it. You're not going to enjoy it, but you can learn from it and become more, I guess the word is at peace from it. And it takes so much practice. It takes so much time. Very few people are going to do it, which is sad because it's so healing.
You can make it a ritual. So many people, and I use the word ritual very loosely, but therapists will recommend it. And I wrote this letter to my dad because when I was making amends after my sobriety and going through my steps, and there was, there's some people you can reach and there's some people that are no longer here. You know what I mean? And my dad was such a big part of my life, and his passing affected me so very deeply. And I held on to so much that there was so much left unsaid. And I had two experiences. I'll start with the practical and then I'll start with what somewhat supernatural, but I sat down and I wrote this letter, man, and literally the piece of paper had blur marks from the tears falling onto the paper. And I prayed, I went into the backyard and I burnt it because I was sending it off to Dad. I wrote it, I got it out, and, I pray to God, I feel like the words reached him. You know what I mean? But you can practice that, whether it's with somebody you've lost or somebody that you're hurt with. Not everything has to be person to person. Sometimes you just need to let it out and then let it go. And putting those words down are an act that releases, and then burn it, get rid of it, bury it somewhere, whatever. The second part of that real quick. I was in the house in New Jersey right after my dad passed, and I was cleaning up t-shirts and clothes in his closet because I didn't want my mom suffering, going through all her stuff. And I mean, going through all his things and like just crying, and I remember this was back in the cop days, and it was February. So everything was like locked down. It was freezing in Jersey. It's the heat on, there's plastic on the windows. There's nothing. There was a door that was leaning against the bottom of the sink that had come off the hinges in between all this stuff. And we just leaned it there. Big old wooden door. And I'm talking out loud to my old man. I'm like, Pop, what am I supposed to do now? You were my confidant. You were the guy that I went to for advice. Like, who am I going to talk to? Nobody else understands me or at least respected my privacy the way you did, and all of a sudden I hear, whoop, and hand on gun, head popping out the door sideways. And I'm like, I didn't hear anybody. What's going on? I was startled, but not scared, right? This door was in the middle of the kitchen. This door, if it would have slid off and fell, it would have slid off and fell right in front of it. This thing was 4 or 5 feet in front of the sink in the middle of the kitchen. There ain't no way that if it slid, you would hear the slide and it go down the floor. It was just, it dropped middle of the kitchen. And I think the feeling is what let me know. And I was like, okay, Pop, I hear you. You can still hear me. And that was it. I picked up the door, I put it back, and I felt good. Like I said, I was startled. I wasn't scared. And I felt relief in that moment because for a split second, the old man let me know he's still there. It was awesome. And, count that as a ghost story, whatever you want, but I experienced it and I take it to my grave. It was beautiful. It was my dad letting me know that he could still hear me. So there's ways to release everything.
I love it. I had a conversation with my dad the other day. It's the first one I've had and I can think of since he passed away. And it was beautiful because I had a little bit, not resentment, but I had a lot of processing, Yeah. And I had 3 stories in my life, and my dad was one of the 3 stories, and I'd never processed them. They were just rattling around in my head. And the reason why they make you write essays in college is because it's an opportunity for you to explore an idea, and they force you to write it down and formulate these thoughts because it will update your belief system. Unfortunately, you can do that in negative ways. You can literally, you see what's happened to our universities. You can go in conservative and come out another species. It's kind of crazy, but they're powerful. Writing is very powerful. And if you think about professors, why they get up and do lectures and, people get on these stages and talk to thousands of people and you think, well, they're there to explain something. They're there to teach. No, they're not. They're there to explore. They're there to render ideas down. And every time they practice, because it is practice, they get a little closer to the truth that they're in search of. and it's absolutely beautiful. Just speaking is so powerful, and they just take advantage of an audience to actually learn about the thing that they're contemplating. And I know that. So one day I finally decided I'm going to deal with my trauma. And I'm going to tell these stories. And I told them to myself on my phone. I just opened up my phone. I turned on record like a video. And I told these 3 stories, not at the same time, over time. And my God, it was like at the end of it, I was just like fixed. Like I was like, I'm good. Because I'd never told the story. I remember these traumatic moments. And then I'd realized trauma is in a story. Right. It's not just this one single moment, this defining moment that you focus on and think, yeah, that shitty thing happened to me. It's actually the story that led up to it. And if you tell the whole thing and unpack it, you learn a lot about it and you start to realize, oh, I know why that happened. Or I accept why that happened and now I can move on from it. And it was so healing for me. But talking to my dad the other day was so good. I was driving down the road and I just, out of the blue, I was like, dang, Dad, you'd be so proud of me right now. Like, I'm killing it. Like, you'll be proud of what I'm trying to accomplish with our family name. And I don't know why I'm telling you that, but just talking to my old man just felt really, really good.
I think that the conversations in this podcast and exploration of thoughts go where they need to go. Somebody's going to listen to this that could be mourning a family member or someone close. And both of us just out of the blue decided to tell these stories and it could help them. That's why I believe in what we do in these therapy sessions, because you don't know who it's touching or who needs it. And God has a way of working through people when they need it. So it'll find the right person. That's why we're telling it. It's not, I don't know why. It's a meant to be.
Yeah. Are we at 1 hour?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know when we started. We're going to try to start making these things a little bit shorter because.
Okay, Miss Barbara. I looked at the camera and I wasn't on there, but she'll hear it.
Oh, here, I'll switch it. There you go. Do it again.
Okay, Miss Barbara.
You think she'd be happy?
Well, here, Miss Barbara is such a wonderful human being. They have a little watch party at that at the senior center.
I can't say nursing home?
Don't say nursing home. She's
so
not an
sorry.
invalid.
Hold on. I'm so sorry. She's not even she's in there volunteering.
Okay, she hangs out there. She does dance. She plays pool. She could run rings
Okay.
around you and me.
I did not realize it's not a nursing home, so forgive me. I will apologize. I am sorry. It is a retirement center.
It's a senior center.
Oh, gosh. See, this is why I have a problem with profanity. People tell me what I can and cannot say, and you can't use this word. Like, it's so crazy to me.
Well,
but
they're
I'm
not
sorry.
sitting there with diapers getting cleaned. Like, they're independent. Miss Barbara drives there every day. She's my neighbor, for the love of God.
Nursing home is offensive. I won't use it anymore. I will call it a what?
Senior center.
Yeah. She had said that they need to be shorter.
Well, they're watching them in these groups and they're like, we love it, man, but we got to shut them down. Like, and then start, because then it's time for Parcheesi or whatever they do, you know? And then, like, you know, some of my friends are nurses and firemen and all that stuff. So they listen in between the spicers. They'll be like, I haven't gotten through all this yet. I had to stop. You know, our local friends and bartenders and restaurant industry people are like, I listen to them on breaks and when I'm driving and this and that. So they're breaking them up. You know, not too many people will sit and listen to it all the way through, except
it's so crazy to me. I don't know why any of you listen, but thank you.
Yeah, we're grateful. I think Melissa has a ritual now that she's up in Georgia in her little cabin, and she'll send me a picture with one of us on the screen on her TV, and it's her and the dog and a cup of coffee, and she's like, I'm starting my Saturday or Sunday morning with you guys, and she watches it all the way through. You know, so.
Well, it's a fun project. I don't know what's going to happen to it, but I'm excited to find out. We'll just see. We'll see. But it's funny to me that I'm doing this other podcast that's, it's a bit more feminine. Not that I'm feminine, but it does have a more of a feminine lady quality, and the guests will be much more appropriate. And I think that's kind of funny because I am pretty damn feral and I'm pretty crazy and wild. And I think, you know, you and I are we're very different. But you know, my other co-host, you'll see soon, is so opposite of me. And I think that creates a really fun dynamic. And I'm kind of excited about that. I come from philosophy. She comes from Christianity. And, you know, I'm learning about the Bible too. And she's a doggone wizard when it comes to the Bible. It's pretty crazy. But I got AI. I can look the shit up.
God. Yeah, we have a good dynamic. That's why our dynamic works, though, because you're pushing the boundaries, and I ground it a little bit, and we go back and forth. But it's funny because I've learned so much from you being so feral and you not giving a crap that I adopt a little bit of it here and there that's appropriate for me. And I think I'd like to think I have some sort of positive influence on you.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not that I don't care. I care deeply. I care enough to keep. I care enough. So I know we got to end the show, but I am an anti-conformist. I don't like conformists. They scare me. They terrify me. You can't say shit. Okay, I'll say crap. Well, you can't say that either. Well, fuck, what can I say? You know what I mean? Like, good grief. And so I'm really torn about words and when I can use them, because you can't tell me what my intent is behind them. I do not give you permission to assign value to a word that I'm using because I think it's funny. And it's an adjective. It's an adverb. So I don't know. I'm really torn about these words, and I think I'm on the right track.
It's kind of like somebody telling you how you feel. Like, you don't get to tell me how I feel or how I interpreted that. I understand you.
Yeah.
But
I do care deeply, which is why it appears that I'm feral, I guess you could say. I don't know if I'm feral.
No, buddy. You're feral. You are 100% feral, but I don't think there's a malicious bone in your body.
No.
You're not purposely trying to hurt anybody, make fun of anybody. We don't like bullies, guys. Literally, we fight bullies. But there has to be some room made for, let's go with free speech. Let's go with satire. Let's go with comedy. And sometimes, I get it. He doesn't like the word, but a good cuss word does punctuate a sentence or a statement. And I can go with that. I've been trying not to, because for different reasons, and Miss Barbara inspired me and all that. And I'm practicing something a little different. That doesn't mean I don't curse, but I understand you.
Well, you feel convicted by it, and I appreciate that. I feel convicted to keep some things alive, because here's the problem. When I say I'm an anti-conformist, I am an anti-conformist in regards to people and their opinions. Like, that's how religion, like somebody identifies one little thing in the Bible and creates a whole religion on it and says you should. And so a conformist to me, so to be an anti-conformist means I refuse to conform to man and man's opinion at the core. Right, I will conform to traffic laws to some degree. I like to break a bunch of them, but I like to, I'll stop at red lights if I think it's necessary, and I'll conform to nature. I will leave it better than I found it. I will conform to that. I will conform to everything in the Bible, and if I can find anything in the Bible that says I can't use these words, then I would do that. Where I struggle is people and their opinions, because there's no shortage of people that have an opinion or are offended by something. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game. I'm not playing your game. I refuse to participate. And so because I refuse to participate, I exile them from my life. And I don't have to worry about them. And I can focus on this huge population that is in somewhat agreement with me. And they don't take themselves too seriously. That's the people I want to work with. That's the people I want to communicate with. There's a lot more there to unpack. But a conformist, and this is my own definition, is someone that conforms, good with it, conform to it. But a conformist is someone that conforms to something and believes you should too, and they scare the hell out of me. It's the reason why the Gulag Archipelago exists. It's the reason why Hitler. People think that it's these world leaders that created all this destruction and chaos and killed hundreds of millions of people. It is not. It is not one person. It is millions of people that conform to this one person's idea, follows it, and says, I should get the jab because it's the right thing to do. I agree with you until you say, and you should too. Shut the fuck up. That's where I get when it gets to that point. When you think something's good for you and you believe it's good for me, when you don't know shit about me, that's when I have a problem. So that's why I resist people and their opinions.
I couldn't agree more. This is where you and I absolutely align. I believe you have the right to live the life you want to live, live and let live, do harm, harm none. The minute you start pushing your beliefs on me, I have a problem with it. Whether that's political, you know, with
Spiritual?
this climate, spiritual, whatever. I'm entitled to believe my way, and you're entitled to believe your way. Keep it off my property and out of my face. Like that. That's the way that goes.
Share it with me. Let me hear your opinion. I'm good
Yeah.
with it. Just don't try to manipulate or force your opinions. I could be wrong, which is why I'm cautious with giving my opinions, and I'm confident you could be wrong too. And the most dangerous people are conformists. Every society that's ever collapsed, or because people started agreeing with one person and they said, we should all do this, let's rally together. And then anyone that doesn't agree, because what they're trying to do is get power in numbers. They're trying to, at the end of the day, whether it's religion, politics, whatever the concept is, people are trying to justify the choice they made and the position they stand on. And they say it's an unconscious drive. They think, well, the more people that agree with me, the more I can solidify, or what would you say? What's the proper term? The more confident I feel in the choice that I made. And if you're trying to encourage someone and you're pushing, you're not really convicted by it. You know what I mean? You're looking to satisfy the choice that you made. And those people scare me. That's at the end of the day, they scare me.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's power in numbers. It's security. And well, if this many people believe the same as I do, then I have to be right. This is strong. And I think the reason they go so hard on anybody that disagrees, regardless of the topic, is because you are a glimmer of, oh crap, could I be wrong?
Yes.
So my only option, instead of,
they won't ask that question.
They won't.
It's an internal instinct and this motivation, this drive, and you don't even understand what it is. But unconsciously, you're questioning, did I make the right choice?
Correct. And that scares the crap out of them. And what's the easiest way to do that? To eliminate you or to bring us on our side. You're either with us or against us. So stand firm. Do your thing, people. Stay encouraged. And if you believe and God put that in your heart, chase it with everything you've got and a little bit more.
I love it. I think we can end right there.
Yeah.
We're over an hour.
Yeah.
Anything else, Carlos?
No, this is just a in-between guest, just kind of download, kids. So we'll see you next week.
Until next time. So long, friends.
That was nice.
I will see. Bitches.
I saw the wink and I knew it.
I almost want to bring it back, but I'm not going to.